bad, and I've got I'm leaving for Hong Kong a week from now, so I'm laying with my foot up. Now I want to just give you guys a update of some of these things that are going on. I'll try not to move the camera too much here, but so you guys know I'm going to Hong Kong to visit my I was going to say my brother, yeah, my brother in my Christ, my son Forrest. Next Sunday we're leaving. And on the way back, we are going to be stopping in Paris. The Lord has some assignments for us there that are unfolding. And he has been talking to me. I'm going to try to sit up. This feels so slack. Sometimes, God, when I'm all messy, I haven't colored my hair in forever. I actually had a dream couple nights ago that like my hair was gray down to here, and I was like, is the Lord giving me dreams I need to color my hair? But then I realized no, it has to do with wisdom. I'm gaining more wisdom as I age, but that's the way I decided to interpret it. So I have a lot of really cool things I'm going to tell you guys. It's personal, but I think that it's exciting to hear how God's moving in somebody else's life. So you know, I've been praying for the Philippines since 2015. Believe in the Lord to really use us over there. I've seen just different opportunities opening up for us there at some point, and so the Lord has opened the door for us to go to Philippines, and he started to put it on my heart to go over there while I was in Hong Kong, because it's like a hop, skip, and a jump from Hong Kong. And but I didn't know anything beyond that. I have a adopted uncle and aunt that I thought lived in Manila. Turns out that they don't. I'm going to show you something that is so cool. So cool. You're going to love it. So I just said yes to the Lord. I do not have the provision to go there. And if we were going to go to Manila, it wasn't going to cost as much. I don't have the provision to go there yet, should I say. The first fruits came in, and I sowed it into somebody else's ministry just today at church. So the Lord is just confirming this over and over again. So gave me a dream, and in the dream, I shared this in another one of the posts, but I'm going to share it again. In the dream, I was trying to get, shall I tell from the beginning of this dream? How many of you guys have heard this dream already? Because I feel like I've said it 3 times, but if I'm going to tell the story. So I had a dream as I was thinking about going to the Philippines. And in the dream, I was on a bus. The bus driver was going so fast. It was a roundy bend. And I was talking to somebody who I was thinking was driving the bus. And I said, have you been on this road before? Because, you know, I felt a little bit nervous. And then I realized that he wasn't the one driving. I looked the bus driver, and he said, oh, I've been on this road many, many times. But I still felt a little bit scared. So in the next scene, I had gotten off the bus, I guess, and I was flying, which signifies faith. But apparently I was not putting my faith in God to stay on the bus. So I was trying to get to where the bus was going to catch up. And I came upon these 2 power lines. And the power lines, I was just kind of flying in and out of them. It was night. I was trying to avoid them because I was scared of them. And I was thinking, I wonder if I could catch up with the bus. So I woke up. Hold on a second. Freaking mess tonight. I'm sorry. So, I woke up and I was thinking about it, and I started to pray and read my Bible. And in the Bible, one of the descriptions was saying that sometimes we are afraid of the power and the plans of the Lord. And I was wondering, what about God's power and plans am I afraid of? Am I trying to avoid? And the Lord reminded me, where were those power lines? They were on Missionary Ridge. And so he was showing me, he was sending me as a missionary. And, are you guys connected? So please go back and watch August Impact Word. Such a powerful word. There's strong anointing on this. Like, God is really moving through these prophetic words that he's been releasing to me after these 2 last fasts. I've done a series of fasts this year, and the Lord is just really speaking so clear. I mean, I have seasons where it's just like a prophetic word back to back to back, and they start like melting into each other and stacking against each other. stacking on top of each other. And I know it's not just for me, because the Lord is having me release them. And so the decisions we're making this month is for impact. It's going to impact through the fall and then on through the fall. But so much the decisions we're making this month are so important. If the Lord prompts you to do something, do it. No matter what in the natural it feels like, you need to go and do what the Lord has told you to do. And so he was showing me that he was sending me off as a missionary, which I've had visions to go to many different countries and do different things. But so then, as I'm sitting here realizing that that's what he's saying, that it's about the Philippines, he started to give me some other layers of stuff. And since I just told it Thursday night, I'm not going to tell that story again, because I want to get this new bit in for the people who are not wanting to hear me blather on for the next 30 minutes. Because I really wasn't going to come on, but I want to. So I agreed to go to the Philippines, and I knew that the Lord would provide as he was confirming it to me. And I started to look up the Philippines, like, what is their big need? And I've known that I want to open homes with women, to help women with children, sex trafficking, and like the pre-sex trafficking, like if you can help people that are in extreme poverty. But as I'm looking at what the problems in the Philippines are, they have a 4 times infant mortality rate, 4 times more than America, more than the other islands around them. And a lot of it, as I was digging into it, has to do with the storms there. And some of it has to do with the fact that the mothers who are poor, they don't have prenatal care. They're having their babies at home. If they're, born premature without medical care, they often die. And then also, if they're poor and they don't have enough food and they're not producing enough milk, they start to supplement baby's diet too soon, which can cause problems, which can bring death. And then there's infectious disease. Kids are dying from diarrhea. It's really, there's a lot of poverty. And so I'm just praying into this. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to go. But I know that I've been praying for this fast and for this country and having these visions for what the Lord wants me to do and working towards them through the college degrees and, volunteer experiences and all the things that God's brought me through, leadership experience. And so I was telling Forrest all about this, my son who's 27 and lives in Hong Kong, how it's not a coincidence that this family from the Philippines, my mom connected with them, and they were like my aunt and uncle. They came to all of our holidays when I was growing up. And Forrest is telling me that his Hong Kong mom is from the Philippines. He has this lady who does his Airbnb stuff and organizes his gatherings and all these things that he does. And she's from the Philippines. And I'm like, well, maybe find out where she's from. Maybe that's a clue where we're supposed to even go. And he said, I'll find that out. And then when I got off the phone with him, I messaged him back and I'm like, that is not a coincidence that the lady you call a mom and the man that I call an uncle and the woman that I call an aunt are Filipino. These are people, there's nobody else in my life that I call a family member that isn't a blood relative with this Filipino couple and their children. There's nobody else that he calls that except the same family and his Hong Kong mom. And he said, you think this is weird? He said, I was in Thailand. He was in Thailand at a gym, like on a weekend excursion or something with some of the people that he danced with. He was with this girl who's from the Philippines. And they were working out at this gym, and I think the gym owner was from the Philippines. And and the Spirit of the Lord came on this man. Okay, looking back, I told Forrest that's what it was. He said it was the weirdest thing. We were thinking, this is so strange. And he just came to him and started talking to him for 20 minutes. He took a piece of paper and he started writing down these instructions about where to go on this island, this village in the Philippines. You got to go there. You got to get the best milk that there is. And it's just this random guy spending 20 minutes writing down detailed instructions about where to go in the Philippines to this village where you can get this milk and really good fruit. And Forrest said him and his friend were just standing there like, okay. And I was like, did you save the note? Because that's our instructions. That's where I'm supposed to go. This is like just a month and a half ago. And he said, I did. I'll be home tomorrow. I'll find it. I'm going to show it to y'all. So, God gave me a note, a handwritten note. And listen, this was yesterday. Forrest took a picture of this and sent it to me. And I've been spending the day, part of the day when we weren't at church, trying to figure out how to get there. It's far more expensive to get there than I originally thought it would, because this is not Manila, where I thought maybe we were going to start out going. This is on the island of Cebu. And so I'm like, okay, the island of Cebu. Well, that's not where my uncle and aunt live, and so I reached out to my uncle, and he's like, we're no longer living in Manila. We moved over to the island of Cebu. I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. My uncle moved there. He's on the top of the island, and we're this detailed instruction. Let me just see if I can turn this around. You guys don't see my messy house, because oh, it's not that bad, but I'm laid out on my back here. How do I turn this around? Do you see this? Cebu Island Airport, 35 minutes on a small plane to Duguante City. This particular hotel, then you walk behind the hotel, go around the public market, this is like detailed instructions, even down to like a time of the day to be in this particular market for fresh cow's milk that's available. It's so random, but it's not random at all. It's a handwritten note from the Lord. So I'm flying to the other side of the world. It's literally 12 hours from here, and I'm going to follow this handwritten note, and I'm going to hear what God has next. And he has spoken so clearly. I got more clues, so many more clues. Go back and watch the video I did Thursday night. It's long, but it's not just about this, but I told more about this. So I'm praying. I've been praying and fasting, but I'm praying into, like, what am I supposed to do this time, And this is a scouting trip. This is I believe the Lord's going to lead me to certain people, but I also believe I am supposed to take money for food. And God's confirmed that to me prophetically. And so anyway, this is what I've got now, this note. So in church today, we go to church today, and the sermon is called A Handwritten Note from God. Now it's talking about Belshazzar, the writing on the wall. That's not the point. Like, I took a picture, the handwritten note from God. After the service is over, they're like, we have a missionary here. This Asian man gets up with his wife, and they're like, we're going to be leaving for the Philippines tomorrow. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I hear you, God. I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to go. But God had told me when I first started booking this trip that he was going to provide, and it more and more unfolded into this missionary journey that I'm taking. But, and I can't give the details about the Paris stuff that's unfolding. There'll be some of that I'll be able to share later. But, my sister is in London. I can't explain why she's in London. It's a huge story, and it's her story to share. But she may be coming to spend like 2 of the days in Paris with us while we are there. And she's being called into all kinds of stuff too. So that's pretty cool. So I'm researching, like, this is not just, God didn't just drop this in my lap. Like, this is a culmination of a call in my life that happened when the Lord called me out of prostitution in the year 2000. We're 2024. So it's been like 24 years. And, the Philippines was given to me in 2015, but before I was even born, God brought this Filipino family into our family, and we like adopted them. My grandparents adopted them in. They came to all of the things, and I've been talking to him tonight on the phone, or messenger rather. I think they may be in their 80s now. He's a doctor. So I'm researching in the Philippines, and really they need medical care, they need food, but these women, I'm thinking of, it says that the infant mortality rate is through the roof for women who are not educated for some reason. And that there's these studies about, they have a lot of typhoons there with the storms, that there's just so much, I mean, kids are dying from diarrhea, and there's a lot of trafficking there. And I'm just like, Lord, this is such a big, I don't know where to start exactly, except now I have this handwritten letter. So I come home from church, or we come home from church, and let me show you. I will show you guys this since I'm showing you stuff. I hear beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, what is this? There's this weird looking, I mean, like just popped out of somebody's belly animal creature right beside my car door. And I'm like, what is this thing? I'll show you a picture of it. Let me turn y'all around and get in here. So, you see this little thing? Had a little cut on its head. And it's just, I mean, just popped out. It's a baby squirrel. Okay? So, I had been studying for the last 24 hours, 48 hours, knowing that the Lord is specifically saying one of the main needs that He's sending me for, and I don't think it's just this time. This is just a scouting trip, honestly, I believe. And I mean, I don't know what's next, but is to help these preemies, these little bitty babies, these children and their mothers who are poor, who are losing their babies. Can you imagine losing your baby just because you don't have antibiotics, or that you just don't have, you know, having to feed your baby something besides formula, and you don't have enough milk, and your baby dies from something so simple. So that's a huge thing. And I'm like, just my heart's so burned for it. So I come home and I see this little creature, and I post it on the local, like, Reston. Anybody know what this is? Any idea what I can do here? And I got a lot of calls and stuff. And I knew right away that it was more confirmation that the Lord was dropping this new layer of what He's having me to do in specific, to begin to pray towards, to help the people in this region of the Philippines. And it's a lot. But somebody reached out. They were an animal rescue. I put like a heating pad under a towel. It's like, it's moving around and stuff, and the mom didn't come get it, and so a lady took it to a rescue. Which is just some of this couple, they're like animal people. They came and took it like an hour away to this rescue lady who is going to like drop feed this baby. But the Lord used me telling people on the internet. Okay, I'm like, I'm just marinating this. I almost didn't get on because I'm like, this is a lot, Jesus. I'm trying to process, and my ankle still hurts, and my house is a mess because I've been laying around for weeks trying to get healing before we go. Not fully a mess. I've had some help, and I've gotten up and done stuff, but all I did was put this little baby's need on the internet, and the amount of people that reached out, concerned and willing to help. Somebody came and got this little infant squirrel help, and there's human babies. There's human babies that need our help, and there's children, and there are women, and there's hungry kids over there. And so I'm actually asking, and as I'm like, there's so many layers to this, so many. I've got to organize it and write it down and share it that way, through an email. But I'm sitting there messaging back and forth with a friend of mine, telling this story, telling many of the other things that have happened surrounding this, and going, okay, God's having me do this now. I'm just saying yes to the Lord. And I'm telling her this, and Abigail Rose just sitting there playing with her animals, or little toys or whatever. She doesn't even know what I'm talking about. And she said, people are donating food for, you know, us to take to da-da-da, and I hadn't said anything about food. I hadn't said anything about donations. She's just very prophetic. And so I'm asking, and I was thinking about it in church. God told me how much money he was going to give me for this trip. And I mean, like, the main expense is already paid for. Like, I've already got my tickets from Hong Kong to Hong Kong. But the tickets from Hong Kong to where we're going, I had thought it was only going to be like $100 each. But there's like 2 planes and a rickety plane. It's going to be closer to like maybe even 500, 550, depending on how we do it for our 3 plane tickets to just to get there. But I'm not going empty-handed. I know God's sending me because there are real needs. I mean, he's given me even specific times to be in the market. Like, it says 7 a.m. at this such and such market. And so I'm really going by the Spirit, and there's going to be needs that need to be met. And I know specifically from Abigail Rose's play, because I'm like, what do you want me to do now? Like, am I just going to go over there and like find out where I would want to open something? I don't know. But I'm supposed to be helping people with food while I'm there. And I'm gonna get things for some kids too. And I think I'll just buy those while I'm over there, because everything is so much cheaper rather than try to like lug a suitcase. And so I have these oils left over. I'm going to send it out in an email. I'm going to put it up on my wall. Anytime I mention anything with money, donating, selling, the Facebook's algorithm just cuts it. So share this and tag some people if you would. And I'm going to keep talking about it all week. I'm going to get on and ask people to be a part of this, because it's the Lord. And I know it, because it's the Lord, I'm not worried about how I'm going to financially do it. But I mean, I seriously don't have it. I don't have it. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say, my husband lost his job. I'm completely dependent on the Lord right now for everything. And he's going to be looking for work. So me and Abigail Rose are going, and Forrest is coming with us over to the Philippines. And so I have these oils, and purchasing an oil for $25, that helps. I mean, 15 of that after overhead and sending it, 15 of that will go to the ministry. You can support by Coffee Saints, purchasing coffee. I'm going to sell this huge painting. Let me try to wobble over there and show you guys. I know there's only a few people right now. I'm going to put this on my, I'm going to put this on an email. Oh my goodness. Jesus, help me. I'm going to show you this painting, and it's been in my heart that I'm going to sell this painting for $800, and it's worth $800. Somebody will buy it. I've got some other things I'm doing here, but this one, I know I've posted it up before, but this one I'm going to sell for $800, and that'll be with the shipping. And I'll have to figure out how to buy a box. Shipping a painting isn't cheap. This one right here, I was gonna pour over some more resin over those flowers, and I'm going to do that, but my foot has just hurt too bad to stand up doing that. I think I'm going to sell that one for $200. This one just it doesn't really necessarily look like it, but it's got tons of hours in it. And I'm giving this one to my daughter, but if you want something like this for a child, you can order one. And also this is already, I'm giving this to a partner. She didn't really purchase it, but I'm giving it to her. So anyway, that's one way that you could help support the mission. That's my story. I'm gonna be on here all week asking for help, because it's not for me. It's really not, and it's the plans and purposes of God. And I took the first fruits of somebody who felt led to give to me recently, and I sewed it into this missionary that came to our church today. I sowed my first fruit. It's still going to the Philippines. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about you. And so I just encourage you to ask the Lord. Don't say, I don't have anything. Like, ask him if you feel so inclined to help you help this trip, because it's from the Lord and I know that he will provide for it. And I don't like asking particularly, but in this case I do, because if I don't ask, then it says ask and you will receive. So I really am being sent as a missionary, so the Lord has to provide for it, because he's confirmed it time and time again. I'm not sending myself. And so this is just the beginning. I don't know where all the Lord's going to take it, but I do know I don't want to go over there empty-handed, and there's going to be people who have need. And so I just bless y'all. Pray and ask the Lord how you can participate in this. If this ministry blesses you, if you know me, you trust that I'm not trying to do anything but the Lord's will. And if you're connected to this ministry and are being blessed by it, I ask that you would ask the Lord how you could help and support this mission trip. So love you guys. I'm going to get on here not all discombobulated at the end of a day where I'm in pain and trying to process all of this stuff, and teach and preach and prophesy. Maybe Tuesday night I will do that. That's what I'm aiming for. I have someone coming over on Monday, and so I plan to be on Tuesday night and Friday night to teach and stuff. So I love you guys. This is tax deductible donations, by the way. Emily Rose Lewis Ministries is a 501c3 ministry. I know some people have taught that that's somehow demonic. It's just a tax. It's the proper tax status for the ministry. So, no reason for you to pay taxes twice, you know. And, so I love y'all, and I'll see you soon. Saying I got a bad connection. Let me pray. Lord. Woo! Jesus. Jesus, Lord. God, you are so good. You are so mighty and wonderful. And you are able to do so much out of so little. I was just talking about Gideon's army and how the Lord will dwindle down the group to where it's so small so that he can get the glory and he can get the honor for what he does through our lives. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm excited because I'm not lacking faith. Like, there are times when you're not sure what God's saying. This isn't one of them. It's beginning, and it's not just the Philippines, but it's going to start there. And it's, I'm also going to Paris on a mission. I'm going to be in Hong Kong. I feel like I'm going to be recovering a little bit more because there's going to be a lot of walking in the Philippines. So I also have a week more to heal on my ankle, and I would like prayer for that. It is healing. But I'm almost wondering if I broke my toe. There's like this bone sticking out my foot that I didn't even notice before. And I'm like, well, they x-rayed my ankle, but this is like a bone sticking out of my foot. And you know what? It's okay, because God is He would not send me if I wasn't able to get from point A to point B. He would not send me if I wasn't going to be able to do the things that He would have me do while I'm there. And, This is going to be the beginning. I truly know 100% believe, because I have been praying towards this and hearing this for a long time, where there's going to be ministry station there. I don't know if I'm going to live there for a while. I don't know how that's going to work, but I have always said God has given Philippines is one of the places where He is given as a territory for me apostolically, And my son lives in Asia, and have always said, I've been saying for years, my son's going to run the Asian wing of it, you know, like, and God has already roped Forrest into this. Like, you know, I mean, Forrest has got his life going there now. I don't know the timeline of everything, but it's now, or he wouldn't have said he's sending me as a missionary now. And the dream was he was going too fast for my comfort. And but Forrest is coming with me to this assignment. And so I pray that the Lord would make way for that, because there's a contract that he's working out with the Hong Kong Ballet right now, as they're trying to hire him on for another bit. He hasn't been working for them under contract since he came home last year. He's been doing a bunch of other stuff, and he just doing some short-term contract work with them. And he's supposed to start that Monday on the 2nd, which is when I'm planning on flying out. So he's got to negotiate. He's got to be with me. I love y'all. Talk to you later.